everyone, it's me, it's Jessica, and this is my channel, Lowcountry Furniture Redesign. I know I've been MIA for a while with doing a lot of house renovations and with being a single mom with her in second grade and Girl Scouts and piano. Things have just been a little crazy, and with me going back to school. So I apologize, it's been a while, and just bear with me while I try to figure out the best method of doing these videos. So just stick around, be patient, and I'm sure I'll figure out the best way to do this. So what I have for you today is the first piece out of a 4-part big flip. It is my old king bedroom set. So when I was 18 for a birthday gift, and I think as a get out, my parents bought me this beautiful set from Rooms to Go called the Charleston, which is fitting because that's where we live. Well, we live in the suburbs, but still. We're in Charleston, South Carolina, in that area. So I had this piece since I was 18. It originally was a queen size bed, and then when I was married, we decided to get a king size bed because he was 6'3" and all limbs, so we needed something bigger. So we were just planning to find something that went with the other furniture, but then when we went to Rooms to Go, they actually had the Charleston style back. So we got very lucky and got a king size piece. So what I'm doing now is, since I got a new house and a new chapter in my life, I got a new bedroom set. So I'm taking this old set and trying to redo it. I'm doing this whole modern farmhouse look, which is very big here, and I'm going to try to sell it. It's going to be all profit because I've had this piece, like I said, for many years, and right now it's just sitting in my garage, and before that it was in my storage unit while I was staying with my parents while working on getting a house. So it was very dirty and I need to get rid of this whole set because it is taking up so much room in my garage, and I really need to like build up a workshop, because not only am I trying to do this furniture flipping stuff as my business, I am also learning how to do woodworking and carpentry, which is very beneficial for my house. I was able to actually build a full pantry. Very proud. Did it all on my own, more than just learning how to paint. So here we are. I'm going to start with the nightstand. So like I said, this is one of 4 pieces. I have the nightstand, I have the bed, which is the headboard and the footboard, and then I also have a chest of drawers and tall dresser. So they all need to be redone. I'm going to have them all matching. And I started with the nightstand so I can figure out how I wanted to do it, because my plan actually changed a few times while working on it. But now that I know, it will be smooth sailing for the rest of the pieces. And then hopefully I can get a nice profit from it. We shall see. And with any piece, you have to clean it. You have to clean it. That is like number 1. You have to clean it. And like I said, this piece has been in my garage and in storage for going on 3 years. So I really need to clean. But it's a beautiful piece. I love the look of these. And I'm sure I could have sold it for a good amount as is, but I wanted to just give it new life because it had been beaten up. Like I said, I've had it since I was 18. I'm not even going to do the math and reveal how old I am. But here I am. I'm using just Dawn soap and water, and I am giving this thing a good cleaning. And then after I'm done with the Dawn soap, then I come back with just clean water and rinse off any kind of residue. But here, like a dork, I forgot to take off the hardware. You have to take off the hardware while you're doing your cleaning, because the underneath gets so dirty. Because no one thinks to clean underneath their hardware. I mean, who would? I don't. So for any kind of furniture flipping, you have to take off the hardware and you have to give it a good clean. So here I am just taking off the hardware, and I'm putting them in a container, that way that I don't lose any pieces. And the little decorative oh yeah, here we go. I found so much stuff that had fallen outside of the drawer. So my ex-husband was like obsessed with gloves, so there's gloves in there, and there's a card for when we announced that we were pregnant. So that was a nice little find. I like that. But as you can see, like even inside, you have to clean every part. It is so dirty, and you don't want to sell something where people are going to have to do more work to it. So just clean it all out. Get all, like we've had our dog and just life, like it needs to be cleaned. So I've got all the hardware off, and now I'm going to give it a very good clean on the inside and out. And the little decorative metal piece on the end, on the bottom between the legs, on the chest of drawer, throughout the many years of moving, it got lost. I don't know what happened to it. I really don't remember. So to make sure that they all go together, I did end up taking that. I don't have it on film. And I found a random key. I don't know what the key's for. I don't know. Again, this has been with me for many years. And there's my little puppy, Bruce Wayne. He is a bull mastiff, and currently he is only going on 5 months old. He's a big boy. We sadly had to say goodbye to Abigail Penelope, my American Bulldog, over the summer. After 11 years of her life and being in my life for a decade, it was very hard. And it was very hard on baby girl, because that was, Abby considered my daughter as her baby. So it was very hard. But after a few months, we found Bruce, and we have happiness again. Here I am going to clean the hardware. It's also very important. Like I said, you have to clean everything. So I'm using baking soda, water, and I'm just going to let it sit and boil for about 45 minutes. Because after I put it in, I know I need to redo my sinks. Oh, it's on my list. So even though I'm cleaning those little pieces to go with the hardware, I ended up not using them. But it's always good just to do it, just to clean, because you never know. So I let this boil for about 45 minutes, and then I go back and I scrub it. So here I am sanding it down. I'm starting the sanding process. This took so long, and I'm not going to bore you with all of it because I hate sanding. It's such a pain in the butt. But I'm starting with 80 grit right here, because at first I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was planning to just strip it all down and then start from scratch. But then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to paint the top part and then little accents throughout the piece, but then the rest of it I'm going to completely strip down and paint. And like I did right there, all those dark pieces are going to be black. So right here I'm going to be using Dixie Belle No Pain Gel Stain in Walnut, and in their Silk Mineral Paint of Anchor, which is a really beautiful black. I've used it on a lot of pieces for my mother in her house. But here I'm just trying to get it all on using the Dixie Belle sponge. And then once I get it all on there, then I'll come back and smooth it out and go with the grain of the wood. And this stain, oh my gosh, I just love it so much. I'm always afraid to stain, and during, I was working on some projects for Christmas to sell like noodle boards and stuff like that, and I was using this liquid stain, and I don't know how many times I spilled it. And one time it actually got on my belly, and it was on my belly for like 2 weeks. No matter how much I scrubbed, it just wouldn't come off. So I had like this big brown spot on my belly. But the gel, oh my gosh, it's so much easier. I love it. And I wasn't sure how many coats I wanted to do, but I ended up just doing one because I love the look of it so much. And here I was having a little problem trying to get it in all the nooks and crannies on the bottom because there's grooves in there. But then once I got a good feel for it, it was smooth sailing. It was fine. And I had been asking and stressing and just begging for guidance from fellow furniture flippers and from friends and family. I couldn't figure out if I should paint first or stain first. As you can see, I decided to stain first. That way, if the stain gets onto certain areas where I'm going to be painting, it's not that big of a deal. And then later on, you will see that when I'm painting, and if I get a little bit on the stained part, all I have to do is wipe it off with my finger. So thank you everybody. It did work. I loved it. It was a lot easier. But look at it. It's so simple. You just get a little bit on your sponge, and you just work it in. I mean, you can't get any simpler than that. There's no wiping away. There's nothing. You just put it on, and then that's it. I mean, you can't ask for anything simpler. And I don't have a video of this, but at the very end, when I thought I was finished with the piece, I decided to take the Dixie Belle's Big Mama Butter and like just condition the rest of the wood on this drawer. I did it on the inside, I did it on the outside, and I made sure to get the railing, and I did the railing on the inside of the drawer of the dresser, well, the nightstand as well. That way it can move smoothly. And it's the orange scent, so it brings a nice little scent to it. So you don't smell like musty old furniture. And here I am working on the doors. And my original plan was to do it vice versa and have it mostly the black with a little bit of the stain. But then I realized after sanding it how beautiful the detail on the inside of the doors are. So it's like a 4-piece different kind of wood grain, and I just loved it. So I'm glad that I just stayed with that and just enhanced it instead of covering it up. And because the wood grain goes in many different directions, I was just trying to get it on there as smoothly as possible. And that blanket behind me, that is actually for Bruce. He's not trusted yet to be in the house by himself. And so while I'm out in the garage, he comes out there with me. And I gotta make him a bed. I really do. I need to make him a bed and then put wheels on it so I can move it around the shop while I'm working on different pieces. But it's kind of nice having him around while I'm working. Even though he's always trying to find like pieces of wood to chew on. And then you see him chewing on my workbench. Turd. Didn't catch him in the act. Got him on camera though. There's the evidence. Here I am just making sure it's all smooth and there's no pools or excess or anything like that. All right, and then after I let that dry, again, I just decided to do one coat. I'm taking the Dixie Belle Silk Mineral Paint in Anchor, and I'm using their little angled brush so that I can get into the nooks and crannies of where I want to paint. And I love this little brush because I don't have to tape. I was able to just very easily get it on there. And there's Bruce chewing on my table again. Dog. Gotta love puppies who are teething and chewing on everything. But like I said, because I had already stained it, when I went to go apply the paint, all I had to do was just swipe my finger on any piece that I accidentally get a little bit of paint on. But it was so easy. And with the mineral paint, you have the base coat and the top coat all included. So if you wanted to, you could just do the paint and then call it quits. Be like, okay, I'm done. But because this is a nightstand and it gets a lot of traffic on it, I guess, I did end up putting on top coats to make sure that it stayed as beautiful as it is. He's going to town on my table. And he has toys in there. I don't understand. Can't even turn your back to work. Look at that face. I love his little squishy face. But look at the detail in that center with the little blocks. I love, love, love that, and I'm so glad that I didn't decide to paint over it because it brings such a different dimension to the whole piece. It's so unique and so beautiful. Well, it's not unique. It is a box store furniture, but still, it's beautiful. You never want to hide the beauty of these pieces. You want to enhance it, and that's all I'm doing. So here I am. I'm starting to work on the trim because I'm going to do the trim and the top all black. That's why it still has some of its finish on it. But even though I started off sanding everything in 80 grit, I did start moving up as I continued, and I ended up doing 220 to make sure that it's completely smooth. There's nothing giving, and that's exactly what I needed. Because even with the silk paint, they say you don't need to sand or anything like that, but it is better for any piece to just give it once over, even if a scuff sand would work, just to make sure that everything is smooth and you don't have to worry about it. And if you have to do some repairs, because I know on the chest of drawers there's some dog claw marks on there, so I will have to patch those up, and it's going to be painted black. So even though my wood filler is stainable, I'm glad that I'm just going to do it all black on the top. Because you even see in the background where I have little stickies, pieces of tape to tell me where I wanted to paint black, but I eventually am going to change it to match the nightstand. Because I think just the little pops of black make a huge difference instead of doing mostly black. And I love Dixie Belle. I paint. And I have a retailer that's down the street from me at this wonderful antique store I go to all the time. And every time I come in there and to buy paint, they're like, so what are you working on now? And I have to show them my Instagram. Which, if you want to see what I currently work on, not only on furniture, but on the redo of my house, check it out. It's Lowcountry Furniture Redesign on Instagram. Check me out. and see all the progress I've made, because I've been working non-stop on this house. I want it to be ours, and I love it. And then also during this time that of filming, December is like my craziest month of the year, and not just because of Christmas. No, no, not only because of Christmas. So I have, and now I have finals I got to prepare for. My daughter's birthday is in December. My father's birthday is in December. And my best friend's birthday is in December. And then plus the day after Christmas, my daughter's with her father for a week. So she's normally always with me. Only 7 weeks out of the year she's with her dad. And I hate it. I hate it. I'm glad that she's spending time with her dad, but I miss her like crazy, so I have to keep busy. So not only was I working on the nightstand, I was also working on building a pantry for my house. Hence why I have all this wood and everything around. And I'm learning how to do woodworking. I got my miter saw, I got my table saw. I'm learning. But here I am, I'm painting the legs. Because in the front, those little grooves, I was not going to strip those down. No, I was just going to paint them. And I decided to add paint into the bottom of the inside. I didn't worry about staining the inside where there's wood. I just painted the bottom. And I love this paint. It's so beautiful. It's so easy to use. And I love it that there's a retailer not far from me at all. It's like a 5-minute drive. I mean, it's just so perfect. Because I'm one of those, when I buy paint, I like to be able to have it in my hand. And plus, I'm completely stupid about measurements. It's like an ongoing thing. It's very frustrating. But I like to be able to see it and to hold it in my hand. And at the retailer, they have paint samples, so I'm actually able to see what it looks like dry, and I love it. I go there all the time. I'm there like once a month. I love them. Here I am working on the bottom. And because it's a bigger piece, the bigger areas right now of painting, I am using a bigger brush, hence why I taped it up, so I don't continuously get so much paint on this stained part. And the beauty of wearing coveralls is that you can't tell how many outfit changes there are. Like I said, I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. I'm doing this. I'm also going back to school to finish up my counseling degree. Baby girl's got piano, and at the time she was doing karate, and she has Girl Scouts. Like, it's always so crazy. Sorry, it's my time to eat. So even though I already did the trim, I wanted to make sure that I had a very crisp line. So I did the tape, and since I had it up, I was able to get a good bird's eye, well, not bird's eye, a good view of what I was doing. I just wanted it so crisp. I wanted it so neat. Because again, we're doing modern farmhouse. So if you're just doing rustic farmhouse, then the imperfections are fine. But I wanted to make it very neat and clean. And for the longest time, I was having the hardest time finding the Dixie Belle gator hide, which is normally my favorite top coat, especially on pieces where I know they're going to get a lot of use out of, like a nightstand. But I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it online. I couldn't find it at my retailer. I just couldn't find it. So I had to use regular poly, which worked out fine. It's still, I used flat, that way I still got the matte look that I wanted. But then shortly after filming this, I did find that they are back in stock with the gator hide, so I did stock up on that. I was like, no, I need it. I don't want to run into this situation again. And it does come out, it does look very milky, but it will dry completely clear and flat, exactly how I wanted it to be. And the Dixie Belle mineral paint, it does have the top coat already in it, but it does not hurt to add extra protection. So I went through the entire piece and I did one coat on the entire piece, and then on the top where most of the usage is going to be, people stacking things on there or whatever, I did go ahead and put like 3 different coats of the poly on there. But I love this. It's so easy. You do have to make sure that you don't get any pooling or drippage when you're doing the top coat, because after all the work that you put into it, you don't want to have like these little like milky globs just dried rock hard on there. It's such a pain in the butt to remove. So just take your time. It's sped up, but this video is sped up, but I do take my time to make sure that first everything is covered and second there are no pooling. Yeah, you could see right there like all my tape of what I was originally going to plan to do, but it's going to be updated. It's going to go with the rest. It's all going to work together. Again, even though this is sped up, I am taking my time and making sure everything is smooth, everything's getting equal coverage, there's no pooling. This is so important just to add extra protection on your pieces, especially something that is going to get a lot of use of. Like, I know from personal stuff, I have my lamp, I have my phone with the charger, I have my drinks, books, computers, like it's always got so much stuff on it. So I wanted to make sure that it stayed pristine, especially when you're trying to sell it for other people. You want it to last. You don't want somebody to come back in a year and be like, hey, your paint and everything's starting to fade and it's all dinged up. How can you fix this for me? You don't want that. You want them to just take it home and love it for as long as they can and not have to worry about it. And on one YouTuber, she also provides a little sample of the paint that she uses for her clients just in case they need to do any touch-ups. I like that idea. I think I'm going to do that as well. Just a little touch-up paint for them. And it's not a whole lot. It's just like this big. Not a whole lot. Just something to help. And then you can also write on there what kind of paint it is in case they wanted to, like if it really got damaged and that little piece of little amount of paint just doesn't work. That way they can do whatever they need to do as well. But typically I have several projects going on at the same time. Like I said, I'm trying to do my house. I'm working each room. I actually just, while my daughter was with her father for the week, after Christmas, I did completely redo my sunroom. Again, if you want to see what I've been up to within the house, check out my Instagram. It's free. Just check it out and you get to see my progress. I'm trying so hard to do everything myself. I was told that the only thing I was good at was painting walls, so I'm trying to expand my skill That's why I've taught myself how to install bathroom furniture, well, faucets, fixtures, bathroom fixtures. And I'm learning carpentry. Like, I am trying to expand my skill set. And I love doing this. I love doing this. It's so therapeutic to take something that's been discarded and unwanted and just make it beautiful and desirable again. I just love that idea. And I know the wood sometimes looks a little spotty, but I kind of like that. Um, I'm sure if I wanted to, I could have done several coats of the stain, but I actually really liked the imperfections. I thought it just brought so much character to the entire piece anyway. Just making sure I get it all smooth and everything's covered. Not have to work that hard on trying to remove pulled up poly, because it's such a pain in the butt. And I love it that you don't really get to see all the outfit changes, because it does take me several days. It took me a while to do this because during the day is the only time that I dedicate to doing my projects. And I'm not just talking about like furniture, I'm talking about like home projects as well. And then when baby girl gets out of school and do the whole mom thing, and then when she goes to bed, then I do my school stuff. So I'm constantly going. And right now, because I do have depression, there's 2 times a year where I'm at my lowest and my depression is like just really kicking my butt. So right now, while I'm not in that state, I have been working hard to make sure everything is organized, because when I do get in that state, I don't want to do anything. I don't have the energy or the motivation to do anything. So when I come out of that state, I want to make sure that it will be a lot easier for me to put everything back the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it's just 2 times a year, and it lasts maybe like a few weeks. So I just want to be able to recover from that in my house. And here I am. I'm doing the doors and the drawer. I took my lint-free cloth, had it damped, and I just took off any debris or dust or anything from there, because again, I'm working on a lot of wood stuff, so there's sawdust everywhere. So I'm gotta clean it. And what I did after I was finished with this piece, because it's going to stay in my garage where I work, do all my wood stuff and everything like that, so I ended up putting saran wrap all around it to protect it. So hopefully by the time I'm finished with all these pieces and get ready to sell, it'll be pristine. That's what I'm hoping. On the doors and on the drawer, it was a little challenging because the poly did want to keep pulling. So I had to go over it and just make sure that it was nice and smooth. But I love the wood. Like, that is so pretty on the inside. I love that. It's so pretty. And I love these little foam brushes, especially with the poly. It makes things so easy. And every time I'm in the hardware store, which is pretty frequently, I always grab more of these brushes and of the chip brushes, because once you finish using them, you just throw them away. Whereas my paintbrushes, I wash and I save and maintain, but these just one and done. And they're so cheap, and it's just, I always have so much because I go through them so much. Because we did a lot of Christmas decorations, baby girl and I. We made our own gifts for like her teachers. Again, you can see them on my Instagram at Lowcountry Furniture Redesign. We were doing noodle boards and all this stuff, so we were going through top coats and stains and paints and brushes very, very quickly. And I love doing little projects with her. It's so much fun. This is my time when I'm doing the furniture. This is my zen time. I put on an audiobook and I just get lost. I get so lost I always forget to eat. So baby girl made me put a timer on my phone to remind me to eat. It's so ridiculous. But I get so in the zone. So even though I installed the hardware here, what I ended up doing was removing it and painting it matte black. And I didn't have a video of it because I just, between like 3 different things, I just grabbed them, went outside, spray painted them, and then that was it. And then I also added the scented wax on the inside of the drawer. Okay, I'm just adding the doors back, calling it a day. I love it when the project comes together. I'm like the A-team. Just love it when a plan comes together. Even though the plan changed like 3 different times. Here's my Bruce. He is a good boy. He's still learning. I'm still working on training, but he is a good boy. He's so sweet. He's such a cuddle bug. And he loves my cat. But he thinks he's like 2 pounds. He got weighed last month. He was 40 pounds. He like doubled his weight by the time we had him. So I don't know how much he is now. But there's the before. Like I said, it's very beautiful. It was just dirty and needed some love. And here's after. Again, the knobs are now black. I love it. It's so pretty. And it does look streaky on the top. That's because I took the pictures right after I did the 3rd and final coat of the poly on the top. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something.